Hey, I'm Key. I just spent the past 2 days at Epic. Let's go back in time and I'll take you along for the ride. I'm here! It's amazing! Quick little room tour. We've got mirror and a closet with a safe and iron and luggage cart. And on the other side there's some hangers and ironing board and extra linens. And the bathroom, and that's this awesome outer space design. Let's see what we can see out here. Oh my gosh, I see Epic Universe! Ah! And we got the couch table, a little cocktail side table for enjoying a midnight treat. Your TV, some drawers, this fun little pop-up outlet, beverage cooler, coffee, and ice bucket. All right, we're gonna go check out Epic. All right, it's 9:50 right now. We'll see how long it takes to walk to Epic from Stella Nova. Don't know if I'm going the right way, honestly. Look at that beautiful hotel. Let's talk about game plan. So I didn't even think that I was going to be coming to Epic today. I thought I was going just tomorrow, but now I'm going both days. Okay, so far I'm struggling to figure out which way to go because there's no signs, which is kind of strange for the walking path. I mean, yes, I could just head toward the direction that I see Epic in, but you know, I want to make sure I'm on the right walking path, so I have had to ask 2 people. Okay, thoughts so far, it's definitely not as pretty of a walk as from like Sapphire Falls to the other Universal parks. It's not shaded and there's not many like beautiful flowering plants and things, but that's okay. I am power walking, if you can't tell. I want to get to Epic as fast as possible. By the way, I'm running on like 3 hours of sleep, so this is gonna be an interesting day. Also not great that you have to cross the busy road. I mean, yes, there's a crosswalk, but I don't know. It's just feeling like, I love how there's like the secret back entrance through the walking paths at the other ones. And this is just like, it's not it. It's not it, fam. You know, maybe I took the wrong walking path. Who knows? I think I see a sign for Epic up ahead, but I'm not sure. Not great signage. All right, it is here. I'm very excited. We are approaching the entrance. There's beautiful music playing. Oh my gosh, here it is. I'm so excited. Okay, it took me about 10 minutes to get here walking, and I was like briskly walking from Stella Nova. We'll see what happens next.
I know that you're going to be driving trainer in no time.
Good morning. I did a terrible job at documenting the day yesterday, but it was pretty great. I will say, rides were pretty inconsistent with running. I would say like every other ride that I got in line for, it kept going down, and it was down for a pretty significant amount of time, like 10-20 minutes. And I mean, when you only have one day at Epic, I'm very lucky that I have 2 days at Epic, but if you only have one day, that is a significant amount of time that is going to eat into your day. But what I did get on the rides, they were fun. Okay, let's do a ranking. I would say Monsters Unchained, for me, is number 1. I haven't gotten to ride the Ministry of Magic ride yet, and that's because that is a virtual queue line only right now. It refreshes at a couple times a day. The first time is at 11, and when I tried to refresh it right at 11, there was a time, and I tried to click it, and by the time a couple seconds had passed to like confirm it, it was snatched up, and there were no times left. So yesterday, unfortunately, it was down for the majority of the day. So that's a bummer. I'm really hoping it's available today. But yeah, just keep that in mind if you are coming for the preview, because a lot of things will be down, and it's a bummer if you're spending almost as much as a regular ticket and you don't get to ride the rides. There are a lot of cool attractions that aren't rides, like the Untrainable Dragons show in Isle of Berk is pretty spectacular. They put their heart and soul into those performances, let me tell you. One second, I gotta cross the street. Hello again. I feel like we need to recap because the past couple days have been a whirlwind and I have not done a good job of documenting everything. But that's because I was enjoying the theme parks, so can you blame me? So I have some thoughts on Epic Universe, at least for this preview time. I highly recommend going early in the morning, skipping midday, go back to your hotel room, take a nap, eat some lunch, go swim in the pool, take a shower, whatever you need to do, and then come back later in the evening around 4 or 5 p.m. The lines go way down. It's much cooler at night. Everything's really pretty at night. Everything's lit up, and it's just gonna be such a better time. Tip number 2, if you're staying at Stella, don't take the walking path if you have any mobility issues or have a stroller or just move a little bit slower. Just take the bus. It's gonna be a lot easier and you're not gonna tire yourself out before you even get in the park. As for vegetarian eats, there's not a lot of options, unfortunately, right now. I mean, there was a few interesting things, like Das Steakhouse had a vegetarian stuffed cabbage with like impossible meat. I didn't try that because hot meat on a hot day and cabbage is my fave. So I ended up eating a lot of junkier food and kind of felt yucky in the tummy because of that. Now, the hotel did have a few more options. There were like salads and wraps and a couple things like that. There was a good breakfast burrito that I had, but the vegan burger that I was really excited to try wasn't available at Mead Hall in Isle of Burke. So I don't know if that was just for the time that I'm here or for the entire preview or what, but that was kind of sad. My biggest tip though is to use the single rider lanes if you can. If you are okay with your party getting split up or you're by yourself, definitely use those single rider lanes. The wait time was significantly lower. You will skip some of the cool queues, like for Monsters Unchained. I ended up riding that ride so many times because it was my favorite. But in the single rider lane, you do skip that awesome queue. So if you are able to ride things multiple times, do try to get in some of those cool queues at least once. I think the biggest thing to know if you are going to come to the preview is a lot of things are gonna go down and you just have to be patient. And if you do want to ride Ministry of Magic, you have to be super on top of that virtual queue. It is virtual queue only right now, and you literally have to refresh your page on the app within a millisecond because those time slots go fast. Alright, let's rank the lands, shall we? This is just based on the things that I love and my experience in each of the lands. But number 5, Celestial Park. I mean, it's just not a lot of shade. There's 2 attractions. The carousel, which was actually a really beautiful variation on a carousel with these unique animals swirling and creating this almost lovely dance within the carousel's motion, and it was quite relaxing and a walk on most of the time, so I'd recommend that one. Stardust Racers, I can't speak for. I've heard it's really cool. It was down for most of the time that I was there. Number 4 would be Harry Potter Ministry of Magic. I honestly didn't have high expectations for this one, and I just kind of knew in my gut that it wasn't going to be as great as the original 2 parks. It was very cool atmospherically with the 1920s, but it just, wasn't very recognizable with the Harry Potter stuff that we know and love. I didn't get to ride Ministry of Magic, like I said, and I've heard that is super cool, especially the queue. And I didn't get to do Cirque de Arcanus. Is that how you say it? I don't know. And I didn't bring my wand. But it was cool seeing the Fantastic Beasts hidden in the windows within the shops and everything, and a lovely team member did let me use their interactive wand at one point to experience the magic within one of the windows, so that was really cool. I got to meet a French wizard and had a little conversation with him when I was next to the French entrance to the Ministry of Magic, and we talked about how I was there on ministry business and looking for nifflers, and he pointed me in the right direction, and that was fun. And there was some lovely street entertainment with some folks playing instruments. Very cool. But I guess it just wasn't as wowing as the other lands. Number 3. Okay, this one is really tough in between Isle of Berk and Super Nintendo World. For me, I would say number 3 is Super Nintendo World, because you can find Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Hollywood and Japan, so it's not like first of its kind unique. It's still awesome, and I love Super Nintendo World, but I didn't get a power-up band. I just wanted to see what you could experience at the parks without having to spend extra money to experience things. And while the land is super alive and immersive and fun, full of life, there's not a whole lot to do if you don't have a power-up band. There are 3 great attractions, and I would say it goes Yoshi's Adventure, Minecart Madness, Mario Kart? I don't know. Minecart Madness and Mario Kart are kind of tied. Yoshi's Adventure is a slow-moving ride, great for little ones. It does go outside in the heat, so just be aware of that. It's going to be a hot one. And it's super cute if you like Yoshi, which, I mean, who doesn't? Yoshi's adorable. There's a Mario and Luigi meet and greet, but the line for that was always cut off really quickly, so you have to be there like that. Like super fast if you want to get in that line. But they do meet several times throughout the day. And I did get to meet Princess Peach, and I believe there's a Donkey Kong meet. I think the number 2 portal is How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. This is such a beautiful land with details everywhere. So many awesome carvings, characters, and just dragons hidden throughout the land, and it's so fun. And I didn't ride Fire Drill because I didn't want to get soaking wet during the middle of the day, and when I went to ride it at night, it was not running. So Dragon Racers Rally, that was a cool one. I honestly was a little scared on it. I don't know why. I guess just because it felt so like you could fall out, but I know you weren't going to, but that's just me. And I've heard that you can do barrel rolls on it if you really put your weight into flapping those wings a certain way. I don't know. Viking Training Camp is just an area for kids to play and climb and have fun. So obviously I didn't go in that, but if you have a little one who needs to get energy out, it could be a good area for them. And I think the main attraction in this land is Hiccup's Wing Gliders. A very fun coaster. There's awesome little details in the queue. And okay, the show, The Untrainable Dragon, was so cool. It had music and dancing and these huge practical sets and these dragon puppets, and just definitely recommend seeing that show. And there's some really cool meet and greets. I got to meet Toothless. Sometimes Hiccup is there. He wasn't there when I got to meet Toothless, but there was another really cool Viking. I got to meet Gobber. He was really fun. And I saw Rough Nut and Tough Nut walking around being goofy. And I saw Astrid walking around being real cool. So such a fun and alive land. Alright, I think the number 1 land in Epic is Dark Universe. So cool. Now, I'm a Halloween girly. I love the spooky vibes, the dark and eerie shadows. But this land isn't so spooky that you're gonna feel like Halloween Horror Nights kind of chills, like actual scared. It's just like kind of eerie and vibey, and you feel like you're in a Victorian spooky village. And just all of the details in this land were so cool, with gnarled trees. And I think this land just felt the most authentic, I guess. The most like you're really in this place, like not theme parky. I loved how the land revealed itself as you walked around the corners. Like there's little surprises hidden around every corner. Mist coming from the well, and the Burning Blade Tavern going ablaze. And the attractions, although there are only 2, they are mighty. Curse of the Werewolf was a super fun coaster, and I think this is kind of a sleeper hit. Like, there wasn't a really long line for this one throughout the day, and it was a really fun coaster. Kind of intense, but not so intense that you're gonna be like, that's too much. But the real winner of Epic Universe is Monsters Unchained. Wow. I could not believe how awesome that ride was. I went in single rider lane the first 3 times that I rode that, so that skipped like all of the cool parts of the queue and the pre-show and everything. But man, when I went in the regular line, because it was like a 10-minute wait, it was so awesome. Just so many creepy, spooky details, and you really get a good backstory of Victoria Frankenstein and her efforts and the monsters that dwell within this castle and the catacombs. Yes, it's the same ride mechanics that we've seen before from Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. It's such a different experience. Like, if you didn't know that it was the same ride mechanics, you wouldn't know, because it's so totally different. And the spookiness level is the spookiest ride in Epic, but if you can handle the Mummy ride, I think you can handle this ride. But if you have littles who are on the fence, if they are scared in the queue, do not take them on the ride, because the ride is scarier than the queue. The meet and greets, I only got to meet one person, one creature in this land, and it was the Invisible Man, but he was very cool. And just all of the characters in all of these lands are very fun to interact with, so just immerse yourself. If you get to meet characters while you're at Epic, try to interact with them. I know it can be a little clunky sometimes if you're not used to that kind of thing, but it's really fun. Just pretend like you're a part of that world and maybe mention something that has to do with their lore, and you'll get some really cool interactions. Okay, let's talk about food. So I'm a vegetarian, and there were not a lot of vegetarian options at Epic, unfortunately, thus far. Hopefully that will change once the park officially opens, but I was able to find some fun things. The number 1 food item that I had was the mac and cheese cone from Hooligan's Grog and Gruel in Isle of Burke. Delicious creamy mac and cheese in a bread cone. Very portable, unique snack. Buttery, everything bagely, garlicky, breading outside. And it was softer than I imagined. I don't know why, I thought it was going to be like a hard, crunchy bread, but it was soft, which was nice. In Super Nintendo World, I got a few things at Toadstool Cafe. I got the kids Power-Up Spaghetti Marinara. It came with a garlic knot and spaghetti and marinara sauce with no meat in it, and some cute little crouton cookie things, and a little white chocolate covered coin cookie. For dessert, I got the Question Black Tiramisu. 10 out of 10 style point. It had really good moussey texture and that rich coffee flavor. I think the blocks on the outside were supposed to be the ladyfinger substitutes. On their own, they were a little dry, but with the rest of the tiramisu, it worked. And to drink, I got the Superstar Lemon Squash, and that was very refreshing. A nice bright lemony soda with some mango stars and little juice poppers in it. A fun and refreshing cold drink on a hot day. In Dark Universe at the Steakhouse, I got the Loboticata, which is a really fun name. and an equally fun dessert. I had never had panna cotta before, so I was excited to try a new dessert, and it was delicious. And it was creamy and kind of thick. And yeah, it wasn't any weird flavors or anything. I think it's a very fun, unique, highly approachable dessert. My favorite place in Darkmoor to visit was the Burning Blade Tavern. There I got the garlic steak pretzel, and that was amazing. But the real winner was the crossbow drink. If you like mead meets a cider, it was tart yet sweet, fruity, and bright. It was the perfect, refreshing evening beverage to walk around Darkmoor and experience the ambiance. Thank you to Mammoth Club for sharing that drink recommendation with the world, because it's a banger. There weren't a lot of breakfast choices in Epic that I found. It was mainly Starbucks, which got a very long line, or Oak and Star Tavern, which did have some good options. I needed a good protein-heavy meal, and on the app I couldn't really customize. I'm sure if I talked to a team member I could have customized my order, but I didn't feel like going through the trouble of doing that, so I did end up eating bacon that day. And I did go back there for lunch. I got the pulled jackfruit sandwich and the cauliflower. I'm not usually a huge fan of jackfruit as a meat replacement, just because the consistency of it isn't that similar if I'm looking for something meaty. But it was a good sandwich. The bread was nice and fluffy and soft, and when you add one of their barbecue sauces to your sandwich, it adds a whole new dimension of flavor. The sandwich and the cauliflower were both spicy, so keep that in mind if you are spice averse. All in all, I think Epic is really awesome. Every land is super exciting, and I definitely think it is worth a visit. Do I think you need to visit during the preview? Maybe. If you get 2 days, I think 2 days is really necessary for experiencing everything, because a lot of the rides are going to be down throughout the day while you're visiting, unfortunately. That's just part of being the preview. Stella Nova is a cool hotel. I love the space theme. It's a simple room, gets the job done. You're not going to be in your room that much probably while you're here. If you're choosing between Terra Luna and Stella Nova is closer to Epic and has that walking path if you choose to walk. It took me about 10 minutes to walk at a brisk pace. All in all, I did have a great time at Epic, and I hope to come back again.